No! No! No!
Horror Pop Extravaganza.
Welcome back, ghosts. I am your horror host with the most, Pops Ghostly. You know where you're at, hopefully. If not, this is your first time. Welcome, dude. Welcome to the Horror Pop Extravaganza. We're so happy to have you here. This is where we bring a little bit of the macabre and a little bit of the mindful together, and we try to mash them all up into something that's super entertaining. Maybe not as long as last week's episode. I looked and I was like, or not last week, but the week before when I was looking back through the episodes, I'm like, damn, we ran close to like an hour and a half. We got to try, and we're trying to keep this thing close to an hour for you so that, we're not taking too much of your time, but hopefully you leave with a little bit of maybe a lightheartedness, some pep in your step. We're trying to do a fun thing here for you. And if this is your first time, welcome to the Horror Pop Extravaganza. I feel like I want to draw that up like an old carnival poster with just weird shit happening everywhere. The Horror Pop Extravaganza. That sounds good, man. That sounds all right. So, I am Pops Ghostly. With me, as always, is
Lil Duke Spooky.
London Spooky, London Spooky, London Spooky.
Duke Spooky.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Dude, spooky. We are
Just lost all of our listeners.
yes, 100%. They're like, fuck this shit. These guys are idiots. Last week we talked about Sinners. We both gave it a 5 out of 5. We were like, this is a fucking exceptional, a pristine example of what good filmmaking looks like.
And HPE first. 5 stars from both of us.
Yes, HPE first. HPE first. This week, I might be in the same fucking position. And it is so hard for me because this movie might be in my top 5. Like if you were like, you have to make a top 5, you only get 5 fucking flicks you get to watch for the rest of your life. I'm really going to sit and think about that for a couple of years. But when I do get to that point, this movie might be on that list. In 1982, first off, a little ghost was born. A little Pops Ghostly was born in 1982. It's very near and dear year to my heart. You like that Dr. Seuss shit there?
Yeah, that was good.
Year to my heart. There were 2 big alien flicks that came out. One got kind of forgotten about as it was released, didn't get a big, huge box office return. The other one is touched by Spielberg, which just catapults it to the fucking stratosphere of movies. Most people, if you don't know what we're talking about, yes, we are talking about The Thing, or John Carpenter's The Thing, and I love that he put his name all over that motherfucker. I would too, dude. I would too. That's what he said with Halloween. He's like, I want to put my name on it. Like, let me present it, as The Thing. And I'm like, that's sweet. So you had The Thing on one side, and then you had E.T., the extraterrestrial on the other side, which I want to say they released relatively close to one another. And The Thing did not really have a whole lot of a chance against E.T. Similar, this reminded me of our discussion about The Reef and Jaws. Like, E.T. is a family, story-driven, character-driven, narrative thing that has an alien in it, where this is like, yo, what if fucking aliens show up and it's not good?
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing
I still think that ET might be The Thing.
that is possible. I mean, we saw him in Star Wars and shit. Like he's,
I think he was just waiting, dude, to get little Drew Barrymore, dude, and like stick his little claws in her.
oh, don't ruin ET for me. Her face is all fucking mangled everywhere. Kurt Russell shoots her in the face.
I want to see that cut of ET.
Right. I would definitely watch that cut of ET. But ET, and I would never take anything away from ET. It's a fucking masterclass in telling a good story, dude. Like really telling a good story and touching at your feelers and all that shit. When I met Summy, the one time Summy comes out here, I tattooed a fucking ET on him. It was one of the first tattoos I ever done. Now I look at it, I'm not mad at it, but I'm like, I would have done that a little bit differently now. You know what I mean?
He's a little bit like if you fuck that up, you got a weird wrinkly dick on you.
Right. Well, it was the bike. It was the silhouette of the bike and ET.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah,
Can't
it's
mess
just
that up.
clearly no. Well, you can fuck anything up when it comes
That's
to
true. I mean, it could be a dick
but
and a blanket on the front of a bicycle.
it's easy to see a oh, did I tell you I found a Little Mermaid with the dick on the cover the other day?
Nice.
Yeah, dude. I was at the fucking Salvation Army looking. I would just go in to look for a cane. I wanted like a cooler cane or some shit. And probably for the last 20 years, anytime I'm in one of those places, I go looking for that mermaid dick. I pulled it off the shelf, fucking 50 cents or whatever it was. I was like, bet 100% grab. For those of you who don't know, there are a lot of stories about Disney in the 90s and shit when they were very homophobic, like transphobic, and a lot of these people who were working for them said "fuck you" and started putting fucked up shit into the cartoons and in the drawings, in the movies and in the covers and things. And I love it. I think it's great that they rebelled in that way. If you're gonna rebel in a way, let's make it that way. Looks like my camera's turning on me a little bit. I got to figure out a way to get this thing. I'm trying out a new camera today, everybody, and it's kind of fun, but it looks like now it's got the room a little sideways, but fuck it. We're just gonna leave it, run with it. So got the dick Little Mermaid. That's awesome. Um, I don't even remember how we got to the dick in the Little Mermaid cover, but the thing, Summy's tattoo and all that shit. But the Thing in 1982 is a movie that has just grown on me like a fucking, parasite that just wants to take you over. And it is, the cast is fire. I know people give it a lot of shit now for not having any female representation. I understand some of that, but at the same time, I don't know what expeditions were like around that time. If you did send a lot of ladies with the military didn't even get kind of co-ed until more recently in the grand scheme. So I don't know. I don't know how all that shit works. To me, I don't really care. I think they redeemed themselves pretty well in the second or the prequel movie because goes back to a short story Who Goes There, I think was the name of the short story. And then you had the movie in the 50s, Thing from Another Planet or Another World. And then you had the thing that John Carpenter would do in 82. And then I think around 2010-ish, 11-ish, somewhere in there, we would get the Thing that was the prequel. And we'll talk about those events. They butted them up together beautifully. If you're going to try and match those two stories up, there's one place you can do it and you figured out how to fucking do it. And it worked out okay. Where I think the prequel suffers. The 50s one is campy, it's goofy, it's the alien looks fucking silly, and big latex mask and shit like that. But the thing that makes this version of it for me, and I think it is an example, it might be the highest precipice we ever saw for practical effects. That's a big fucking thing to say. I understand that. But for this kind, and Rob Bottin just, I guess he was like 20 fucking three, dude, 23, 24, working nonstop, just like staying awake all night building shit. Like he building all these creatures, doing all these things. And to do that at 23 years old, it's like Spielberg making Jaws and shit as a fucking child and all these people who did it young. For this guy to do this, you look at this and you're like, oh, it must be fucking Stan Winston or fucking Rick Baker or somebody like that. But you're like, no, it's just fucking Rob Bottin. And he did this fucking crazy awesome thing. Even the music in this, traditionally John Carpenter does his own shit, but he handed it over on this one. And I think this was a passion project for him because you saw it in Halloween. That's the movie the kids are watching on the fucking TV is Thing from Another World or whatever. So this clearly had a big impact on Carpenter as a creative force. Something in him was like, yo, that's a cool story. I like that. And who knows, we might get some more of this. We've seen video games come out that were super cool. We just got a remaster of the PS2 game. They re-released that. I would think we'll probably get something else down the road associated to this. I feel like there's so much you could tell, but this version out of 82, I just don't see them ever being able to recapture because it was the perfect fucking storm of creative talent that just and made an awesome thing. So why don't you open up the Internet Movie Database and let us know, who's in it, who directed it, and most importantly, what does IMDb think that The Thing from 1982 is about?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. As you mentioned, directed by John Carpenter. Written by
One of my
Bill.
favorites, dude.
Dude, he's the greatest.
Carpenter, because he's still so just fuck. He's like, I just want to fucking smoke weed and play video games now. I'm old. I've done all this, but seems just like get the job done and then move the fuck on. Like, he's not a big ego, doesn't seem like a huge kind of ego guy. Maybe he is, and I just don't know that. But everyone I've seen interviewed that has worked with him, Jamie Lee Curtis and these people, she's like, he sends me fucking Christmas presents every year still. And, after her first like Academy Award or some shit, like called her and was like, fuck, good job, kid, or something like that. Seems just like a genuine guy who is excited to do his thing and just kind of live it out. But then at the same time be like, okay, what's next?
Right. Yeah, my good friend Rebecca, who was on my other show, which I don't think she's been on this one yet, but she did the ward with John Carpenter.
Oh, yes, I remember that episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she did the costumes for that, and she just said he was everything you wanted him to be.
Perfect, dude.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, yeah.
All right, so it was written by Bill Lancaster and John W. Campbell Jr.
Okay.
Guess who was in it?
Oh, I know. There's so many good names in this thing, dude. There's so many good names.
Uh,
Um,
amazing Carpenter constant
Staple.
staple. Yes, that was the word I was looking for. Yeah, is Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
You put these two guys together, and you get fucking gold.
You get fucking New York, you get fucking LA, you get fucking Big Trouble in Little China, you get this shit, you're right. They just, went hand in hand. They must have got along real good and just been like, yo,
Oh, they do, dude. You've got to listen to the commentary on the DVD for The Thing. It's the greatest commentary of all time. 'Cause it's just Kurt Russell and John Carpenter fucking laughing and telling jokes,
oh, I'm
having a
all for
great
that,
fucking time.
man. I'm all for that.
Yeah, and then telling like amazing stories from the set. Like it's just as good as the movie to
I'm gonna
see
have
the.
to see if it's on my I'm sure it is on my Blu-ray or DVD or whatever, but there are some good commentaries out there. I need to get back into that. I feel like I don't do it as much as I used to.
Podcasts killed commentary.
You're right. Podcast killed the commentary star. Podcast killed. No, it was fucking streaming killed the commentary because that shit used to be all over your DVDs with like secret menus and fucking everything was plastered to make you spend all that extra money. I do have some good box sets that I still have to get through a few movies, like the Halloween 4K has a ton of good commentary. I've heard most of it, but I've done a few of the Batmans, which are super cool. When you get Tim Burton sitting down and fucking chatting about shit is really fun. But I would love to hear, yeah, Carpenter and Russell talk about this shit because, yeah,
Yeah. And they're just you can tell they're buds, they just hang out.
right.
Let's not forget Mr. Wilfred Brimley.
A really aggressive Wilford Brimley. Everybody remembers him being like, "Oh, I got fucking diabetes," but in this one, he gets an opportunity to be like violent and angry and a little over the top. R.I.P. Wilford Brimley. We will all always love you.
Fuck yeah, dude. He's almost as scary as the monster in this thing.
He gets there a couple times. Yeah, he gets there.
Keith David.
The great. The
Love.
fucking great. Another one that if his name's on it, I'll watch it. Even if I know it's gonna be dog shit. I just want
Right.
to watch Keith David do his thing. Yeah, because he's fucking fantastic. I mean, another one that did some like was in They Live, which was a Carpenter joint. So he seems maybe one of those because you see other cats show up too. I can't remember the name of the curly haired dude, but I know I seen him in some other shit too, that Carpenter did. But yeah, he keeps that kind of stable around him. That why not? I mean, find a pit. That's the thing. You got to build your fucking sphere of good people. And he was like, "Oh, I know this is good people. I want to bring you on my movie. It was fucking nice to work with you, and you're fucking great." Instead of being just like, "Oh, who's gonna be the biggest box office return, even if they're a fucking cunt the whole time," you know? Right.
And Childs, dude. What a fucking cool name. and just one of
All
the
of them. I
smoothest
mean,
motherfuckers.
Childs, Windows, like everybody had,
Blair.
Doc. Yeah, Blair was just kind of Blair, but even McCready, though, RJ, was it RJ MC McCready? No, RJ McCready. And, just that name alone is fucking cool. Like the only name cooler is fucking Snake Plissken, but, that's taken by a one Kurt Russell. So, yeah.
Uh, Richard Mazur is Clark. And this dude's from one fine movie called License to Drive.
Yes, he is in License to Drive. I think he
Yeah.
also played Stan, the adult Stan, in the TV version of It. He's only there for a little bit to slice his wrist at the
Oh, yeah,
beginning
yeah.
and fucking write it on the wall and stuff. I feel like he played a TV dad or some shit too. Like was on TV. He's all over my memories from childhood, but I can't really place exactly which ones he's a big part of.
TK Carter is Knowles, dude.
Knowles.
There's a
Knowles,
picture of him, dude. He still looks the same age.
good. Good for him. Good. But Knowles, all of these characters are great. Dude, Donald Moffat, fucking shows up like love me some Donald Moffat. And then we had who else you got on the list? I feel like there's a couple more I'm missing. I know a few of them didn't have as big of careers, but you just have a lot of great players in this thing. So much talent that shows up and everybody plays it well. Some look a little more theater trained maybe, and the other, but there's talent there. It's across the board.
This might surprise you. Hmm. The voice of the computer,
Yeah.
Adrian Barbeau.
That does not surprise me. Not surprise me at all because they were romantically involved, I think, for a while, her and John Carpenter, and she would show up in oh, what all was she in?
She was in the fog.
Right. She's the DJ in the fog, and I feel like there was something else he was in. Maybe Escape from New York. She might have.
Oh yeah, she was in Escape from New
Yeah,
York.
I feel like there was one other one too, but yeah, they were, again, like him, and he also brought like Deborah Hill on to do a lot of his shit. Like he knew, like you can't do it all on your own.
Right.
Find the pieces that fit together well with you, and then bring each other all up to make a cool picture instead of being like me, 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 me. Right.
Well, the dude can spot talent, obviously.
Sure, sure. Has an eye for it. Or maybe somebody, maybe that was all Deborah Hill and we just don't know it. And she was like, yo, get this motherfucker. Get that,
Yeah.
Wes Craven's kid was the one who, or maybe it was Bob Shaye's kid was like, yo, that Johnny Depp one, that's the guy you want to get. It was his daughter that fucking was like, yep, he's the one. So you never know where it comes from or where it goes.
All right, you ready to hear what IMDb thinks this movie's about?
Yes.
A research team in Antarctica is hunted by a shape-shifting alien that that assumes the appearance of its victims.
That is sure. It's okay, guys.
It's gonna be okay.
Assimilation. It's not a bad description, but it's also not a good one. I feel like it'd be better if like fucking aliens get wet and gross all over Antarctica. Period.
Yeah.
Because again, for me, even seeing it just today, I rewatched it earlier on today, and even rewatching it, it still blows my fucking mind, dude. The effects are just so good. And even without, maybe Carpenter had his hand on the score a little bit. I'm sure he's always there kind of, diddling. Maybe this is a fucking made up name. I don't even know. Maybe it is John Carpenter and he was using I have no idea. But the music from the onset sounds like John Carpenter.
Yeah.
You get these like low synthy, just fucking cool shit going on, and we're in outer space, the dark vacuum, the void of fucking space, and we're just looking out. And then we get this cool little painted on UFO. And we see it burn up through Earth's atmosphere as it goes down. And then we get the title card, which is so fucking cool. I loved the 80s, dude. Like, I don't know if have you seen Superman yet?
Yes. Dude.
Loved it.
Oh,
Fucking
me too,
everything
dude.
about it, dude. Metamorpho, like when Rex showed up, I was like, oh,
Yes,
dude,
dude.
he's just like the comics. But it tears. It's like a rip in the fabric of reality, and light starts pushing back. And it reminded me of the old Donner credits. Everything in the 80s and late 70s seemed to have big lights. When they figured out they could light tracers, it was
Yeah.
awesome.
It's another thing they talk about in the trailer. Actually, they filmed it with a fish tank. and they pulled the black away from behind it and let the light come through, and that's how they filmed that shit.
That's fucking smart, and I love hearing that kind of stuff. That, but they just figured it out, man. You even look at the Charlie Chaplin shit where they would be like, "Okay, we're gonna put a fake little bridge here, a fake thing there. We're gonna film it from back here and up here and down here and move it and do that, and it'll look like he's really hanging off the fucking building." And it's like, brilliant, man! Like, good on you guys. But yes, this title card is so cool. The Thing. It's all ripping through bright blue lights. And then we are in a helicopter watching a helicopter. Cool helicopter shots. They had two helicopters out there, one of them riding. We didn't have drones in 82. So you had to put a helicopter. It costs money to get those good shots. Now I love even in the lowest budget movies, I'll see these like 4K shots, like road shots, bird's eye up above the thing. And I'm like, yeah, because why not? Drones are fucking, available. But we're following these people who are speaking a language we don't understand yet. We'll learn later that they were Norwegian, and they're in this helicopter screaming fucking and we look down, and now we're following this husky that's just barreling ass through this thing, and dude's pointing like, down there, go get him. Starts taking pot shots, trying to hit this dog's running toward another base. We don't know yet that this is, or we learned pretty quick. There's science like U.S. fucking Antarctic Institution Station 4 or whatever. And I think it's Outpost 31, because I had a board game for a little while called Outpost 31, and it was actually really fucking cool. But the dog's running. These dudes are ready. They're throwing grenades out the window, and this guy's I don't know what his glasses are, but they're awesome. They look like the fucking, what was his name from Cyborg? Like, I like this world. The fucking antagonist in Cyborg. Those 80s slit glasses. Shooting. They start hearing it from inside. After we meet them a little bit, we do meet McCready, and this dude screams charisma, man. Just he's sitting there. It's the hair. Kurt Russell's hair was fire at this time. I mean, it might have been literal fire. Like if you touched it, like it's too hot. Or you could surf on it. It's so wavy and beautiful. So he is playing chess against a computer, and she beats him, and he dumps his drink in there. A real funny moment, like, you cheating bitch. Which I'm like, you just killed that whole game over.
Yeah, that's like the only thing to do for 6 months.
Not the only thing to do. They've got pool tables, jukeboxes, game show recordings that they can watch. But he kills his computer, and relatively quickly, after we meet a few more people, we are outside. We hear some of the gunshots and shit that's going on. People start to gather around the windows. A few of them go outside. They're like, what's happening? This helicopter's chucking fucking grenades, taking shots. Bang, 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 bang. They land the helicopter, and one of them was like, oh, I seen some shit on the side. Norwegian. And this guy gets out with a fucking dope rifle, and he's ready to go, man. He's like, fucking, I'm killing this dog. And then he's not, you know what, though? He missed almost every shot. Now that I think about it, he dropped his fucking grenade right under his helicopter. So maybe he's not the best soldier. These were scientists. They were not meant to be, soldiers. But these guys, I think, they at least seemed a little more militarily equipped than our American research friends. He blows up the helicopter with the pilot in it. He takes a shot at the dog and hits, shit, I can't remember who he hits in the leg, but he hits somebody in the leg, takes it, fuck my leg. And he just completely ignores them though, and keeps going after the dog. And he's not even looking at these cats. He's like, I gotta get this fucking dog, and he's chasing him. And then Donald Moffat fucking busts the window out and fucking puts a bullet in his eye, and we just see fucking bang, gone. The dog comes in.
The dog.
This is where it all goes bad. And we've been trusting dogs and shit. Like John Wick could be the first thing, and that's fucking scary to think about. What if the first thing the thing assimilated with was John Wick?
Oh,
right? Just running around murder spree. So Clark takes the dog. They take the dog inside. We do see a little, and what's crazy about the thing, is it truly is one of the best whodunit movies, but they show you the monster all the time.
Right? Yeah, totally.
It's hard to describe because normally in a Usual Suspects or fucking Knives Out or something like that, you get a big twist at the end, whereas this, what the fuck is going on. It's just you can't pinpoint exactly who has this thing. It's like herpes. You can't you, you can't just like be like, maybe, I don't know, you fucking scratching yourself funny. You might be an alien. So this dude's dead. The Norwegians are gone. Why the fuck did he do this? We're gonna go up and go find out. I know where the station's at. And I love that McCready gives that look here too, like, hey, get your shit, Mac. And he's just like, yeah, just like badass stuff. He's just cool. So they fly to the Norwegian outpost, and this is the whole prequel movie, is everything that happened at the Norwegian outpost leading up to the events of 82, which I thought was really it's not a bad movie. I just think it too much CGI for me. Like the thing in my mind equates to practical effects.
And
It's
that's
just
the thing. You can't have like the best practical effects movie and then follow it up with something full of CGI. Like that
right.
was never going to work. I don't know who made that fucking stupid decision.
I don't know either because it was just wasn't there, and it was a time when you know who made that decision was whoever did the budgeting sheet, and was
Yeah.
like, we could save fucking $1 million not doing practical effects. You want to do it because you don't have another like people who are passionate about it and trying to fight their way into the industry, and just fucking going crazy about effects and pushing the boundaries. The Tom Savinis and the Rick Bakers and the Stan Winstons and
And
they're
it had been
all
so
out there.
long too between the first one and the sequel. It's not
Right.
like it had a built-in. I mean, it had a built-in fan base, but it's not like people were itching to go see a sequel to this
Oh,
thing.
because like we jokingly talked about ET and shit, but it really did put this thing to the side. It really did just absolutely put this thing to the side. And that's what happens sometimes, but it's gained a crazy cult following over the years. Not only just a great horror movie, a great sci-fi movie, a great example of good filmmaking, just a great example of a lot of things. But they get to this Norwegian camp, and this is where we see the first like really fucked up thing. A face twisted in part, like teeth over here, teeth up here. And they're like, all right, we got to take this shit back. And we see the one guy, though, which always fucks me up, dude. The guy that's killed himself. He slit his own throat and both his wrists, and the blood was frozen, leaking out of
Best.
him. And
The best.
little details, little
Yeah.
details. So they bring this body thing back to the base camp, which I'm like, don't bring it inside. I know it's fuck cold out, but
Seriously.
you needed a Ripley there. That's the problem. They didn't have a woman. You didn't have somebody smart enough to be like, yo, quarantine fucking rules, get that fucking nasty shit out of here. And then still some fucking ignorant dude would be like, oh no, we gotta come in. No, they bring in the thing and he starts opening it up. They do the autopsy, fucking Wilford Brimley, and he's like, or no, yes, he was the one who's doing it. He's like, well, it looks like fucking normal liver, but this shit is wet and gross. And he's reaching in, just like pulling things out.
Well, it's all burned too. They had lit it on fire.
Right. Because they saw in the helicopter, that's right. McCready saw 15 like cans of kerosene. He's like, why do they need all this fucking kerosene for? But yeah, they had burned it up to a crisp. And so now we're trying to deduce what happened, at this camp. We got some videotapes. They did find the big hole. We see a hole that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
That looks like it just goes underground. And we don't get to the tapes or the hole quite yet. But we do get to the dogs running around. It runs by somebody's leg, and they're like, "Oh fuck, Clark, go take your fuck dog away." Okay, I'll go put him with the other ones. This, it brings my heart, and this is a weird thing to say about this part of the movie. It brings my heart so much joy. The layers of this effect.
I
It,
have seen it so many times, and it is still hard for me to look at it.
yeah, and I think a lot of it was hand puppet. You know, it was some
Yeah.
guy's arm up a thing, fucking beep, 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 beep. But it's the layers to the effect. So he puts the dog in, and the dog just sits down in the middle of the thing, like fucking, okay, settling in. And all the other dogs out of nowhere are like, start going crazy. The one dog's trying to eat his way out of a fucking metal cage. And I love they kept showing that shit. This dog, like, that's the level of intensity. And, you know, we're all, at least I think most people consider animals to have that kind of, you know, weird sense. They have some kind of different sense than we do. And, all the dogs are in the corner, and then this husky's fucking face opens. First, a bunch of this ways, then a whole nother thing comes out and opens this ways, and then its back opens up, and all these little feeler wiggly things you don't want near you, whatever these whatever these little wigglers are. Horrifying image, completely done practically. That is just it really is. I think in my mind, this might be the best example of practical effects, like the height of it, when there was money for it, when people were pushing money at it. This is just fucking top notch.
Well, it's different too when you see that big dinosaur in Jurassic Park, the Triceratops, and it's laying there, and you're like, yeah, they built that, dude. But it also is just laying on the fucking floor, and you're like, yeah, that was built into the fucking set.
Right,
This
like,
thing pops up onto the ceiling, dude.
yes, after it grows two arms out of its back and grabs onto the ceiling, like fucking look like Danny DeVito penguin hands, but with claws. Ready.
Or my French flipper trick.
Oh, I'd let him try it on me. You're right though. These so Clark, somebody's like, or Clark hits something or yells, and McCready shows up, and they all see the shit that's going on in there, and it's like, what the fuck? Get a flamethrower. And that's, I want to say they hit it, and that's when it grows the shit out and climbs its way up into the ceiling and just disappears. Now we have a true what is going on moment. I don't know if I've ever gotten over this scene. The fact that the dog scene. That's what sold me on this movie the first time, but it just gets progressively more intense.
Yeah.
And some of the you know, like you could say never use a defibrillator again. And if you talk about this movie, people know what you're talking about. Uh, but we start gathering weapons, gathering thoughts. We're like, okay, we have to figure out what's going on. And where do we go right from here? Because they start running the simulations, and that's when Wilford Brimley sees the readout. Like if this thing gets out into the big world, it would take 27,000 days for the entire population to be infected. That's it.
That's the movie I want to see, dude.
Oh,
The Thing 2025. Let's do it.
oh,
The
oh,
whole world is infected by the Thing, dude. And the only thing we've got left is Kurt Russell. He made it.
and he rides the sun into it. Like
Yeah.
on a special spacesuit that can withstand the heat of the sun and rides it straight into the earth to destroy it from killing all the rest of. But we do it from you'd have to do it from a perspective from another planet. Like, yo, this cosmic entity is about to jump planets from this one to this one, and we gotta fucking destroy it. And the thing's already taken over. It got out of Antarctica, and Earth's like down to a last couple people who are the resource people. Like, we're still here. Can you fucking get us out? Yeah, we're gonna blow up your whole planet. Just get everything you gotta get. You got 3 days. Fuck, we gotta survive the thing. Let's go.
Yeah.
Anyway, so where was I? Oh yeah, the simulation. And he's like, oh fuck, like this is not gonna go good, man. We got to figure out what to do about this. Still, people are not really totally freaked out, but a little bit freaked out. And before all this, though, we went back, right, and saw the spaceship, or they watched the video and see the spaceship.
Mm, can't remember because they just see the big thing.
They saw the hole, but I know at one point they watched the video and see all the Norwegians like standing around the perimeter of the ship.
Yeah.
Yes, and they're like, okay, full fucking aliens. Like this is what we are dealing with. And then I want to say we see Clark. with one of the dogs. We think it could possibly be him. So they start planting seeds of doubt in all of our heads about who's going to do what. And from here, it just turns into a race against the elements, a race against your own paranoia, a race against, because we see a lot of them, once they figure out it can go into a person. And the first person is Doc, because I think Doc goes outside and he's half fucking transformed. They're like, yo, he was in here and he was fucked up. And it's like, because we see the thing all around his neck, like going into his mouth, doing one of those. And then he brings McCready in, the window's busted out, and they go outside and they see him and he's like, bruh, just with gnarly mutated arms and grotesque. They cover him in fucking kerosene and burn him all up. They know the thing doesn't like fire. They know that for sure. They speculate that global warming or whatever has, melted enough of the ice for this organism that's been down there for so long to now come back. And then they dug it up, or enough of the ice was gone, they could find it, whatever it was. So now he's gone, and Wilford Brimley starts like, I'm burning this whole bitch down, dude. Like, we cannot leave here. We just got to kill everybody. He's throwing shit at people, fucking busting people upside the head, all this shit. So they throw him out in a shack, and he's just out there in the cold being fucking miserable for, quite a while. He's out in this shack. I'm like, come on, man, let me the fuck out. And they're like, no, fuck you. Like, we think you might be the monster. And they start to get the idea of, can we develop a test? Is there a way that we can determine which one of us is, because I want to say there's a handful, 5 or 6 left. Is there a way to determine which one of us is the thing? And so they're like, well, you could fucking, test the blood. Then they go to look for the blood, and somebody had contaminated all the blood or destroyed all the blood bags. So we know for sure it's in somebody. We don't know exactly who at this point. It could be one person, it could be multiple people's, but we know it is in somebody, and everybody's starting to get defensive. Like, I didn't fucking do it. Like, McCready's got the flamethrower and some dynamite. Like, I will blow us all the motherfuck up right now if you don't, you know what I mean? Slow your roll. They try and get him from behind. He's punching people, which I think would be a pretty natural response to the events of this stuff. So now we got one gone, and then and I can't remember his name now, the curly haired, chubbier dude whose belly opens up because he gets fucking knocked out or like seizures up or something like that. And they're going to use the defibrillator on him. And this again, another sequence. It's so unexpected.
Yeah.
Like, fucking Wilford Brimley's like, clear. Goes to push down, and my man's stomach just opens up with giant teeth and cuts him off at the elbow on both arms. Now we got Stubby Brimley shooting blood all over the place. This dude's fucking guts are eating people. They hit him with the flamethrower. Get him with that thing. That's not enough, because I'm gonna sever my own head and I'm going to crawl it away. This is an organism that wants nothing more than to just fucking take over and survive. Like, that is it. That is all this thing wants. So it separates from the neck, fucking, and pulls back, head falls off. Head gets away by flinging its tongue out, grabbing onto something, and then pulling itself over, nudging over this way, nudging over that way. They're like, oh shit, this is crazy. Not crazy enough, because the head can still grow spider legs. And this is after it came out on a big, long fucking neck thing. These effects, man, are crazy. And these dudes are, what the fuck is going on? So the head, after they try to get rid of it, it grows spider legs, it grows little eyeballs coming out, and then they're finally able to burn it up. And now everybody's really paranoid. What in the fuck, dude? Because we saw this guy's arms get bit off. We saw old boy outside. We saw the dog. The dog was enough.
Yeah, I would have been done with the
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah, just burn me up, Kurt Russell. Hit me with a flamethrower real quick.
I
Turn
would
it
have
all
been
the way.
taking a walk in the Antarctic, dude. They would have found me as a popsicle.
Popsicle. Right. I'm just gonna slowly melt away
I'm gonna take a walk, you guys, later.
naked.
Yep, with a stick up my ass. So when they find me, they giggle a little.
Right. What the fuck?
It really is a popsicle.
Write a little joke on it like they used to have where we got to pull it out to get the answer. Thaw him out. I need to know what the fucking answer to this riddle is. So, oh shit. So we decide that in light of recent events, we are going to do a blood test. And a couple people disagree with it. Clark doesn't want to do it. Wilford Brimley, they got him tied up. There's a couple dead people, but they tied him down to tables just in case that they decide they want to fucking turn around and come back because clearly this shit, even the blood when we get where we're kind of getting right now, but you see it. The plan is heat up, cut everybody, get a sample of everybody's blood in a petri dish, heat up the end of a copper wire. He's over there shaving it like fucking Snake Plissken would. Like he's just Kurt Russell. There is no, you know what I mean, one or the other. He's shaving the rubber and the casing off the wire. We're gonna heat this on the blowtorch and touch everybody's blood. Theoretically, the blood should react. This thing wants to survive. Our blood won't. It won't do that outside of the body. It doesn't have a survival instinct outside of the body. Whereas this alien organism will fucking respond in some way and we'll know. As he's getting ready, like, we're going to tie all you bitches up. And Childs is like, fuck you, McCready. Like, you ain't tying up shit. And he's like, Childs, I will shoot you right here and now. And he's like, you're not doing it. And he's like, right to his face. And Childs is like, I know, I like, isn't that crazy? And Childs is, look at that, treat people with kindness. Do that, people. So Childs is like, I guess you are serious. And sorry, I'm very parched.
That's all right. This is one of the most insane, intense scenes in any movie ever.
So good,
I
dude.
remember the first time I saw it, dude, and I was just literally, this is the only time I think I've been sitting on the edge of my seat in a movie, being like, dude, this is insane. This is great, And
It's so, like you said, this is like, the level of tense is like Reservoir Dogs level of tense and shit. When everybody's got their guns out at the end and it's like, oh fuck. And that goes back to the good, the bad, and the ugly and all that stuff. But you're right. It's the way it's cut between the torch and this, and then the slow approach to the blood, and you see everybody's name on it, and it's fucking barely moving, twitch, and you're like, psst, it's okay.
The setup is so good, dude. The sound effects in it are so good. This is probably one of the greatest scenes in cinema ever. If you wanted to teach tension in a class, you would watch this scene.
It would be one of them. It would have to be, man. It would have to be because I know what the fuck is going to happen, and this scene still gets me.
Yeah, the same, dude. I've seen it a million times and I still get all fucking tense.
There's something special.
It still makes me flinch.
There's something special about that. You're right. Like, oh fuck, yeah. So we have only two people helping McCready. Everybody else is tied up. So we've got Blair's tied up. We've got Childs is tied up. We've got the hippie stoner. Windows is tied up. And then maybe one other person. They're like, hey, we got to do this fucking thing. And they start going through the But they do, I think, test one of the dead people's blood, and it does react. When they hit it, it fucking like the blood jumps out of the thing. Or maybe that's not until we actually get Windows. But they go through everybody kind of slowly, but then they get to Windows and they go to hit it, and fucking it jumps out of the thing, and the blood starts scurrying and it's running away. He started, and everybody next to him is like, fuck, you feel for it. You're like, no, fucking get me away from this guy. But that's after, I can't remember, because he gets up and his fucking head opens up like a mouth and grabs onto somebody and starts slinging him around all above his head. Like this kid must have had the greatest fucking time making all these effects. Whoever was around him must have just like, oh no, we need a fucking mouth head that opens the fuck, grabs a guy and flings him around all over it in the air. Beautiful. Can you do that? Let's make it happen. So we see that, but Childs and Blair both pass the test. And I like Blair, though, who's just like, I hope you guys are having a good time, but could you please get me out of this fucking shit? Like, nobody wants to be restricted in that situation where you don't know where some stuff is coming from. We go out and check with Wilford Brimley at some point, but he's gone. He gets out of there. So it wasn't him that got his arms pulled off then. It was
No.
some,
You've
yeah.
said you've said Wilford Brimley got like killed in this thing like 4 times already. Also, Blair, who you just said
Oh,
was
he is Blair.
no,
I got
he's
him all
been out
messed
in the
up.
fucking shed the whole time. Just
Yes.
for anybody who like loves the thing, please don't hate us. That fucking pops, fuck that all up.
Listen. I'm gonna play. Listen, I'm disabled, and I have a I have a
You're gonna play
memory
that card now?
every time if it's true, if it is true. Um, but you are right, and there. So McCready, Childs, Blair is Wilford Brimley.
And he's
Who
out
is
in the
who is
shed.
Donald Moffat's character's name?
I'll have to find that out.
Yeah, because I know Windows is our hippie guy, and then there's Nas, who was the cook, maybe.
Yeah, he was the cook. Donald Moffat is Gary, and he's the one who
Three.
didn't want to have his blood tested, and they test his first, and
Right,
fine. And he was like, "See, I fucking told you, you
right.
know." But you're like, "Come on, motherfucker! There's aliens in one of us. Like,
It's
stop
like
being a dick."
the paranoia is so high. So Gary, there you go. So Gary gets out of the chair. Childs is out with McCready, and you're right. Blair has been out in the shed, and they go out to talk to him and shit, and he's got a fucking noose already tied up in there,
Yeah,
right
man.
through the window.
Like,
You can see it, and he's like, "Listen, fuck McCready, I'm better now."
yeah,
And if somebody tells you that fast in life, they're probably not like that much better yet. But he understood the gravity of the situation. I think he was the only one that was like, "Yo, we're gonna kill everyone everywhere if we try and get away from this thing. Why not just burn us all up in it and fucking go down with knowing that we, stop this? Even though a rescue team might have showed up, and who knows, might have been something there, but." We only have a handful of people left. At some point, he gets out of the fucking Blair gets out of the shed. They do see a light on out in one of the radio towers and realize somebody's been out there because I think it was McCready or someone is like, oh, I turned the fucking light off. Like I know I didn't leave the thing on. So from here, I'm trying to think who dies next. It's gotta be Gary, but I can't remember exactly how Gary dies. How does he go out? Because I only remember Childs and McCready make it to the end. Turns out Blair was one of the things. There's things everywhere, but the thing ends up turning into a giant, insane abomination of a kaiju fever dream, maybe.
all right, yeah, I'll buy that.
Yeah,
For
so they decide we have to, and I know you're right. I am for a movie I really like so much. I am kind of missing some things, but that's okay because it's a long movie. It comes in at just under 2 hours.
yeah,
So there is a lot of cat and mouse and a lot of guessing stuff going on, but also a lot of character development. You care about some of these people by the time they all go. But when we get to the end, we got a cool effect of the ground, like something is so big underneath there. And we saw the vector graphic of the cells, this cell, binding with whatever it is. And they learn as they open things up and see like they pull a dog head out of a fucking chest cavity. And it's gross. And it's like, yeah, it's trying to assimilate with everything. No matter what, anything organic, it's going to grab onto. It's going to assimilate with. So somewhere this thing, gathered up Blair and a couple other people and a couple other things and became this huge dog beast. Reminded me a lot of maybe they were inspired for Resident Evil from some of this shit because there's just eyeballs coming out of shoulders and very viscous. You can feel it. It's everything is all wet. And Kurt Russell's got so much dynamite. They've got so much dynamite. I don't know if it's for blasting purposes, but so much dynamite goes to hit one. That doesn't go good. I think we presume Childs might be dead at this point. They don't reconnect until because I feel like Kurt Russell finally takes this thing out on its own. They rig the whole place to fucking blow up, rig the whole establishment that it'll eventually freeze, there's a storm coming, it'll bury it. They won't even be able to find us. Not like they can get through 10, 20 feet of snow if that's what happens. I don't know what the logic was there, but either way, we're going to burn this motherfucker down to the ground around this guy. And they fight back and forth for a minute. We get some awesome kind of shit going on. And then, I'll deal it. Dying, dying, dying. And we cut to McCready and Childs. They had two great talents. I would watch a whole movie with these two motherfuckers just talking to each other, just not even doing anything now in life. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, give me Keith David and give me Kurt Russell. But they are sitting there kind of, we don't got a lot of hope here. This is kind of the end.
Yeah, and they both know that one or the other of them, because they got separated, one or the other of them could be the thing.
Right.
And he's just like, let's just sit here and see.
Right. And they start drinking fucking the whiskey or whatever it was that Kurt Russell had at the very beginning of the movie. And he kind of chuckles and looks at him. And then you get that score that kind of comes in, and then John Carpenter's The Thing. Can't believe we got all them names wrong.
That's all right. We still love you, Pops.
Thanks. I appreciate that. No, yeah, and I will play the disability card. I told you I got my VIP parking placard the other day. I play that bitch all the time, and I'm like, every time I'm looking for a handicap parking spot, I'm like, damn, everybody's got one. I was like, I could never any spots. So
Let's give anybody one of these things.
right. The Thing, 1982. Out of 5 washed out chess machines, how many washed out chess machines do you give John Carpenter's The Thing?
It's 5.5, dude. It's one of the greatest movies of all time. It's got fucking Kurt Russell in it, dude. John Carpenter, some of the most memorable characters. You look at like Sam Winston, and he made like the Predator and the Aliens, but in
Right.
this they made like 8.
Pumpkinhead. Stan Winston did do Pumpkinhead, which
Did
is a
Pumpkinhead.
fucking masterclass in effects. But
Genius. I'm not taking away from that. I'm just saying he has to create one creature where this thing has 8 creatures.
I
And
need
they're so like everyone is so amazing that you don't want to look at it, but you look at it and it's hard to like you can't pull the reason why it still stands up is because you can't look at those effects and pull it apart and be like, oh, I see where the strings are, I see where the seams are.
right.
It's so weird to look at that you can't get an eye on it. And just as you're about to, they fucking switch it up on you, and some weird like penis flippity thing comes out and starts swinging around, and you're like,
It's,
what?
it's a layered thing, dude. It's layers upon layers of effects.
It is, yes.
No, first off, it's a stomach opening up and ripping 2 arms off. That's 2 different effects.
Yeah.
Then it's a head falling off and crawling away. A head kind of stretching though, like you see all the
You see
tendons.
all the little tendons popping and shit. You know what those were? Those were condoms.
I believe it. Makes
That's how they
sense.
got it to stretch and then snap.
Makes sense, dude. You use what you gotta, you know what I mean? You do what you gotta do. But that thing stretches far and then it's up in the air like
Yeah,
like almost Henrietta and shit from Evil Dead, that big long
that's what it reminds
crazy.
me of, dude.
Yeah. But so
And then you look at it too. You got a million predators, you got a million aliens. Why don't we have a million things? We could have thing in the jungle, we could have thing in the city, we could have thing up your butt. So many things, dude.
thing in the city. He was just a regular thing trying to make it in the big city until one day fate had a different plan. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. But you're right. There is something more to be, maybe an origin story Where did this shit come from? But I guess it's
We don't even know what the thing originally looks like.
because because it was the dog. And before the dog, they dug it up. But wasn't it something I haven't watched it?
Something buried in the ice, remember? And they had the big square ice, and that's what it came out of.
You can
But we
see.
don't know, did it assimilate the guy that flies the spaceship, or was it flying the spaceship?
Oh, I like that. That's an
Yeah.
idea to explore. Okay, I'm tracking. I'm with you. I hear you.
It could have started off like herpes. You don't know.
Right.
Going down on a weird green alien chick, and all of a sudden you got the fucking thing in you.
Yeah, that's the origin story.
Origin story.
Venereal disease from a distant galaxy.
Some colonel marine. God. You got the fucking thing herpes.
Right. The thing clap. So the did you have anything else you want to say?
All I can picture right now is tentacles coming out of a pussy all over. I don't know.
Might have to maybe draw that. But you're right, it sounds funny. Or just a little comic strip of some dude in like some shady alley getting like an alien prostitute, and you can see the little things like hanging out of her panty line, like he's like, oh yeah, fuck, so horny, and then it's like 2 days later, and he's like,
Yeah.
fucking neck and eyeballs and shit all over. We could make that happen. I am with you. It's a 5 out of 5, 100% a 5 out of 5 for me. There's few movies that hit me as hard as this one did and continue to.
I can watch it
I
once
am
a year.
biased. I am biased towards practical effects, so I've made that well known. But you're right, at least once a year. I probably watch it once, if not every 6 months. And maybe not actively watch it. Let's sit there and just watch it, try and get inspired, draw some pictures or something like that. But it is a just a standout amongst sci-fi flicks, amongst horror flicks, practical effects flicks, filmmaking. Like you said, you could teach that tension, watching them build up to that. Psst, very intense. So the thing, 5 out of 5. If you haven't seen it, watch it. And then what is next week before we pause for the living? Do you know off the top of your head?
I do. It's Until Dawn.
Oh, right on, right on. I was just talking to a couple people about this movie. So this is going to be fun.
Streaming on Netflix on the 23rd.
Oh, okay. Right on. So that'll drop probably after that for sure. Yeah, because we're usually, for those of you that don't know, we might be an episode or two ahead. Who knows? But that's the way you do it. To make sure you got something to put out, man. You gotta fucking think ahead, right? Seems like the right thing to do.
Sounds like solid advice.
Yeah. So Until Dawn, and if you haven't played the video game, that's a super cool one too. If you're a gamer, play through that. And I was so hopeful my first playthrough. I saved a lot of people up until like the last half hour, and then just like flies. There went all my friends and shit. Killed them all. But it really is a neat concept. It's a cool thing. And the movie I thought translated well from the game. It's not, video game cinema has a long history of some crazy shit. Do you remember Double Dragon?
Fuck yeah, I remember Double Dragon, dude.
Do you remember
Party of Five, Scott Wolf.
and Only the Strong's Mark Dacascos?
Yeah, dude.
Do you
Bro,
remember?
Stairway to Heaven, Mark DeCostos.
Right. The Super Mario Brothers movie, the first one, the original Super Mario
Fuck
Brothers.
yeah, dude. That one's weird as fuck, but I still love it.
Dennis Hopper is the weird fucking Koopa Bowser character.
The best, dude.
Yoshi's just actual dinosaur shit.
Yo.
And then let's see, what else did we have? We had Tomb Raider, which wasn't the worst. The Angelina Jolie stuff wasn't the worst. But we had stuff like Mortal Kombat Annihilation,
Ugh.
Street Fighter.
Ugh.
Street Fighter, I love me some Raw Julia, dude. And I
Yeah,
would watch it for him. But the Street Fighter, I went back and watched it recently and I was like, yo, I'm coming to get you, Bison. This fucking painted on American flag tattoo.
Van Damme was just on cocaine that whole time, and they kept having to like bring him back from like whores' houses and stuff to like
Oh,
get back to
dude.
set.
Yeah, and he was just married or some shit. Like, where's Kylie Minogue? I need to see her. Let me do this little dance. You ever seen Kickboxer? Fucking sexy. And he's Belgian. That's a lane of my people, my direct people. But I think he's French Belgian, not Dutch Belgian. Anyway, that is neither here nor there. So Until Dawn, you said it drops on Netflix in the next week, or maybe it's already there.
July 23rd.
Okay, July
Almost,
23rd.
like next Wednesday,
Oh, okay. So by the time this is out, it'll already be out.
it'll be out.
Yeah.
Watch it.
All right, watch it. Now let's take a moment to pause for the living. And this is the part of the show where we just take a couple moments to talk about some different, I don't want to say things, but maybe ideas that can potentially help us just enjoy a more contented life. A I hope a more contented life. That's what I would like to share with people if I can. But I want to talk, this is more about experiencing life and taking the time to know life because I am a contemplative dude. I've gotten to a
What?
point in my life. I've gotten to a point in my life where I'm like, I really don't think about much else. Like today, like some shit was in my mind and I wrote for like 2 pages in my journal. It was like da, 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 da. Um, if I ever find myself thinking about people, if it ever goes that negative direction, I try and stop and just wish well on somebody and then move the fuck on to something else, something bothering me, something like that. But this last week, I had the opportunity to go down to the Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, which is like one of the big fucking, stadium areas, and see the Wu-Tang Clan with Run the Jewels.
Yeah.
Run the Jewels was dope, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, they made me a fucking fan. Like I had heard some of the radio stuff, but as soon as I saw them, I was like, I need to know more of this.
I like them. They're good.
But Wu-Tang was everything I wanted to see and more. That show, just talking about the show. The show was incredible. The stage was probably 10 feet from where I was. We were 5 rows away from the stage. So we had the best view. It was just, it was unreal to see these guys perform. They all came out and did their thing. ODB, RIP ODB. His kid tours with him for this tour, and he's the young DB, the young dirty bastard who is Dirty's oldest. This motherfucker looked like him though, and he did it, dude. He came out there with energy and was just fucking shimmy, shimmy, yeah, shimmy, yeah, shimmy, yeah.
Yeah.
They all came out, they did their thing. Incredible show. Very end of the show, and this is where I'm talking about live your life. This is because I bought these tickets as soon as they went on sale. As soon as I waited in the queue for an hour, I've had tickets to see Wu Tang. This would have been the fourth time, and it's the first time I've got to see them. COVID took the first two shows away. Actually, all three. It canceled the first two, and then I actually contacted COVID when Wu was touring with Nas for the New York State of Mind tour and had to sell my tickets. Or actually, I don't think I sold them. I just gave them away to somebody. I was like, yo, who's a Wu Tang fan who wants some tickets? I think the universe was saving this show for me. I genuinely believe that. I genuinely believe I was meant to wait. Like, don't see him someplace else. Yeah, I just wait for this one because, and I spent a lot of money on those tickets, and that's okay because I was like, I want to be in the fifth row, and I spent the money just for the fifth row, and then you got a VIP thing, which you went. It was like a whole sectioned off area before the show where you got to. They had like Wu Tang picture booths and shit and like Shaolin movies on and the Wu-Tang time capsule was there. They had a little photo booth. I took some pictures in there and whatnot. And it was cool. We hung out, had some snacks, and then went to the show. But at the very end of the show, Ghostface, who is one of the sickest MCs on the planet, he's like, yo, after party at the Shadow Lounge. I'm like, I'm like, what is he talking about? I have no idea. And then I start trying to look it up. I can't find it really anything about it. I can find one little Instagram thing. And so I'm like, let's just go. And that's sometimes you just have to live your life. And I made the joke about being disabled earlier, but it really is some real shit, especially when it comes to physical exertion with multiple sclerosis. I'd already been on my feet all day, getting to the hotel, doing this, that, and the other, been at my feet at the show, screaming, doing all this shit. Still, let's go. I want to go. So we get to the thing. We're one of the first couple people there. I just saw a cab. I was like, "Yo, fucking homie, take me to this place, Shadow Lounge." Drive over there. Get there. They're like, "Yep, these are the tickets." Da da da. There's a meet and greet thing. He's gonna be here, and I'm like, "Oh shit! Like that's dope. Cool. Let's get the wristbands or whatever. $25. You know what I mean to get in." We get in. They we're probably there for like an hour and everybody's just in there smoking weed. They got a DJ fucking spinning, and the one DJ was pretty nice too. He was fucking cutting it up. The DJ for Run the Jewels was really fucking doing that old school fucking and I love that shit, man. When they like start flipping them and turning them and doing their funny shit. But this place is full of smoke, just people having a good time. And all of a sudden fucking Ghostface Killer walks in. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like this is truly in my mind, like this is crazy. This is a lyricist, an MC, a human being that I've looked up to for a long time. Not a flawless human being. None of us are flawless. But he came in and was just taking the time to fucking take pictures with everybody, chill as fuck, relaxing. This is amazing. And then all of a sudden, I'm sitting there with Butter, and we must have smoked fucking 9 blunts that night together. Probably six on the show floor. We were just smoking all night, smoking blunts. And all of a sudden, he's like, "Yo, I think RZA just walked in." And I was like, "What the fuck?" Now, out of the Wu-Tang Clan, the RZA is a man, like I've read his books and see him more as, like a teacher, like his the Wu-Tang manual and then the Tao of the Wu, especially the Tao of the Wu. That's a really kind of philosophical, spiritual kind of book. And you can see it on him. His energy is just fucking like it glows. Like he just like is a human being that and he was just I'm like, you know what I mean? Like this is one of my heroes. They're like, "Yo, come over here." We go down there. I get to stand shoulder to shoulder with the RZA. I get to say what up to Bobby Digital. I get to take a picture with the Ghostface Killer. I get to see RZA pass out fucking drinks of Cristal to everybody and fucking like all around this group I'm sitting in and shit and like toasting and cheers and like Wu Tang for the children and shit like that. I see RZA take the mic like from me to fucking a fart away. You know what I mean? He's just starts freestyling. This is more than that concert ever could have been in my life to see him just grab the mic and start doing his thing. And then Ghostface takes it for a second and starts spitting bars from Triumph. And I'm just like, this is fucking crazy. RZA gets up on the stage and he's like, "Yo, DJ, let me get the fucking shit for a minute." And like gets the mic and starts fucking spinning old dirty bastard shit and gets a whole fucking crowd going. Hey, dirty baby. And there's probably only 100 of us, total in this whole place. Live your life. You don't have, but you can't live a million different lives. It's not possible. Live one and try to live it fully as possible. We met this woman down there. Her name was Shayna, which was crazy. I was like, "Yo, that's my wife's name." And she's like, "Oh, how do you spell it?" But she was a drummer in a fucking rock band and we smoked blunts. You know what I mean? And it was great. And sometimes you just have to push past that fuck, I'm fucking tired. Fuck, I'm fucking, if he wouldn't have said something, if Ghost would have been like, "Yo, Shadow Lounge," we might not have never known. And I was tired, dude. Like my legs are fucking shaky and shit. Like I feel like I'm still recovering from that concert and it's been a good 6 days, you know, because we didn't even get back to the hotel till 3 o'clock in the morning. But I knew I had to live that. There was no way I could pass that opportunity. And life is going to give you those, not all the time. And you can't do them all. Like, "Oh, I want to be a fucking professional basketball player and a lawyer and a fucking doctor and a this and a that. And I want to do this and I want to do that." You're going to probably end up with a lot of disappointment. Any of us would end up with a lot of disappointment. You'd be like, because you can't, it's just not possible. We have a finite amount of time and you need to determine what are those things. And that's why I sat as soon as the tickets opened up. I sat on my phone, kept fucking refreshing Ticketmaster, like, "Yep, let's go, let's go, let's go." Did the thing. And then it ended up playing out into something which I will probably never forget. I can't imagine I will. You know, some of the pictures. And I forgot to mention fucking Inspector Deck showed up too. And I'm like, holy fuck, dude. Like three of the Woo are walking around this motherfucker. Streetwise was there. Fucking dope ass Detroit rap. And it was just amazing, man. So take those opportunities, take those chances, and take the time to figure out, what the fuck you really want in life. I think some people we struggle with even identifying like, what do I want? What do I
Yeah.
want? And that's hard. For me, I wanted to go see Wu-Tang. And I got the hat and shit, the Forever Tour hat. And it was really cool. Let me get a quick little sip. With the VIP, you got in early to go to the merch booth, and each city got an exclusive designed poster, an individual poster, limited to 240 prints, hand numbered. Detroit, I got one. It was $50. I got one because I didn't care that it was $50 because it was Wu-Tang at the top in Galaga font, and it's a video game board with a little Wu W at the bottom as the spaceship. Pew pew. There's like little bees and little dragons and shit up there, and it says Little Caesars Arena, and then where the score would be, it's got the date for the show on it. And I dropped that off to Hobby Lobby to get matted up and framed up and looking nice, but it's not something I would do all the time, though. We have limitations, and it's understanding our own limitations. Whether right now, you might not be able to even financially be like, yeah, it must be nice to be able to go to a fucking concert and be able to do that and fucking go have fun, right? That's why you're fucking happy and shit all the time, right? And it's like, nah, not really. But to understand that having you got to have that vision in front of you. You got to have that goal, some kind of something that says, yes, one day I want to be able to go to a lot of concerts. If that's truly what you want, if you want to be an avid concert goer, then write that shit down on a piece of paper. Figure out what it would cost. What would it cost you to go to all these concerts without burying yourself in debt? Don't do that, don't max out every credit card somebody will throw at you. But what would it cost you to be able to do that? And if that's really what you want, but too often, I feel we look at other people's experiences, but we compare a whole lot of different ones. We assume that everybody's doing a whole bunch of cool shit all the time, or that everything, we see on social media is like the best shit ever when sometimes it maybe isn't. But define those goals and then go after it a little bit. Figure out and say, hey, this is what I want out of my life, and then live it. Take the time to live it because it's going to keep going by like crazy fast. Like they called this, who knows, they called it the final chamber. Like this was going to be it. And these dudes, RZA just celebrated his 57th birthday.
That's great.
Jizz is like 58, something like that. And you got to think, these guys they're out here doing songs that are, almost 40 years old now. They have full lives that they're still wanting to live.
Yeah, they went to an after party, dude. Like, I'd be like, I'm gonna go home and take Alka-Seltzer and go to bed.
Right. And not everybody came to the thing, but and I'm telling you though, Riz is on a different level. Like if you read the book, The Tao of the Wheel, he talks about the events that led up to what he calls his enlightenment. And if I've ever seen some shit like that, I was like, that motherfucker radiates. Like just all smiles, just like it seems so joyous just to be alive and to be there. And hey, this, hey, that, just interacting with everybody. Yeah, let's take a picture. People come over to the side. Da 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 da. Yeah, it was cool. And then on our way out, we saw Inspector Deck. He just walked right out. It was like, yo, peace, son. I was like, yo, oh no, there went my camera. So Dad comes outside and he's just like, yo, peace, son. And I watched him get in his fucking cool looking SUV and I'm like, ah. But made the same amount of like friends with the food truck lady who was out there. Like I went out there and bought water from her and we chit chatted and talked about different shit and all the other people outside. And um, yeah, super cool. Live your life. What do you got? What do you got?
Amen. I got nothing after that story, dude. Come on.
No, I'm saying anything to the concept, of not letting time go by without figuring out what you want out of life and then enacting a plan that will hopefully help you get there.
Yeah. I mean, I can get behind for sure. I was invited to a 40th birthday party this weekend, and it was just after a long day, and I was just like, fuck that noise, dude. There's gonna be I don't know anybody except for the birthday boy. Like, why
Yeah.
am I going to this thing? But I said, fuck it, like I said I'd go, so I should probably go. So I went, and I was like, all these people I know are going to be like half my age, and like I'm going to be like old grandpa there. Like, what am I doing? And I went to this thing, you know what? And I met some really fucking cool people, and I had some really cool conversations. And that wouldn't have happened if I would have just sat at home and just fucking been lazy. Like, I put myself in a situation to do something that kind of made me uncomfortable. And then it wound up being really great. And I was like really happy that I went and socialized and met all these people.
That's seeing that's it, man. I
Yeah.
feel like there was a book written a while ago that was like say yes to everything for a year or some shit like that.
I tried that shit, dude, and I got myself in some trouble.
You want to buy some heroin? Yes.
Yes.
You want to suck my wiener too?
Yes.
Yes. Let's go. Uh, no, but to opportunity, to say yes to opportunity, there's something there. But yeah, I guess that's it. Next week, Until Dawn. I like where you're with your where your head's at with all that stuff, and just I encourage people, take the time to define what you want your life to be, because it's gonna just keep like the 60 minutes shit. Next time on 60 Minutes. I'm old as fuck and I didn't live the life that I wanted. I never
I stayed home because I was tired all the time.
was too
Tired all
afraid.
the time. Fucking go out tired. Do things tired.
That's what I feel like sometimes because this MS shit is not tired. You know what I mean? People think like, oh, I've been tired before. It's like, you ain't been not like this, man. Because I'm somebody who worked for fucking, in the military. I was tired when we'd work for 40 to 50 hours at a time without sleeping. That's tired. This is like different, like brain not right, bug kind of tired, but I'm not gonna
There is every character in the thing tired.
right. But I'm not gonna slow down. I mean, until I physically can't, and whatever restrictions come then, I'll figure it out from there. But until next time, I've been Pops Ghostly.
And Duke Spooky.
Peace, love, and kindness.
No! No! No!
Horror Pop Extravaganza.